Hello students, I hope you are all fine and in good health. In this audio presentation, I will be continuing with the chapter Ranga's marriage, and I will be continuing from the next paragraph. So dear students, let's start. I must draw your attention to this aspect of Ranga's character. Now aspect means special feature. He knew when it would be to his advantage to talk to someone and rightly assessed people's worth. Now, Ranga knows the importance of talking with someone and knows the importance of a person's worth or significance. As for his namaskara to me, he did not do it like any present day boy with his head up towards the sun, standing stiff like a pole without joints, jerking his body as if it was either a wand or a walking stick. Nor did he merely fold his hands. He bent low to touch my feet. Now, what he did? He bent low to touch the feet of the narrator. Now, that shows that Ranga was not only religious minded, but Ranga was also very traditional. May you get married soon. Now, this line also shows that the narrator was indeed a potential matchmaker. I said, blessing him. After exchanging a few pleasantries, I left. That means after gossiping a bit, then the narrator left that place. Now, dear students, I hope you understood that paragraph. Now, I am moving on to the next paragraph. See, it is written like this. That afternoon, when I was resting, Ranga came to my house with a couple of oranges in his hand. Now, this is very important and interesting. That particular afternoon only, when I mean, previously, as you know, the narrator went to the house of Ranga along with the other villagers. That particular afternoon, Ranga came to the house of the narrator with some oranges in his hand. A generous, considerate fellow, it would be a fine thing to have him marry, settle down, and be of service to society, I thought. Now, since the narrator was a potential matchmaker, so every time that idea of getting Ranga married goes on in his mind. And since Ranga was a generate fellow, a very considerate one, so he wanted Ranga to marry soon. For a while, we talked about this and that. Then I came to the point, and here I quote Rangappa, when do you plan to get married? Now, after talking about many things, then the narrator came to the right point or to the right thing or to the main point, we can say, and that is Rangappa, when do you plan to get married? Actually, Ranga was a nickname, Rangappa was the actual name. I am not going to get married now, he said. Why not? I need to find the right girl. So that was a very prompt reply from Ranga's perspective. He told that I need to find the right girl. I know an officer who got married only 6 months ago. He is about 30 and his wife is 25, I am told. So the age compatibility is more or less okay. They will be able to talk lovingly to each other. They means it is the 30-year-old officer and his 25-year-old wife. Let's say I married a very young girl. She may take my words spoken in love as words spoken in anger. Now, because of the gap in age compatibility, that is the reason Ranga's views about marriage is ultra modern. It is very progressive also at the same time, because he is not in favor of marrying a young girl, because she might not understand his words properly. So maybe there might create a bit of misunderstanding also, because she may take Ranga's words spoken in love as words spoken in anger. No, that was the main reason that Ranga was not eager to marry a young girl, but Ranga was very much eager to marry a mature girl. So I am skipping few lines, dear student. It is written, uh, if one gets married, it should be to a girl who is mature. So Ranga wanted to marry a mature girl. Otherwise, one should remain a bachelor. That's why I am not marrying now. So Ranga wanted to marry a mature girl. Otherwise, it is better to remain a bachelor. And that is the main reason why Ranga is not marrying now anyone. Is there any other reason? The narrator asks Ranga. Apart from this, is there any other reason why you are not marrying? A man should marry a girl he admires. What we have now are arranged marriages, and Ranga is not in favor of this arranged marriages. How can one admire a girl with milk stains on one side of her face and wetness on the other, and so young that she doesn't even know how to bite her fingers? Now it is very difficult to manage such a young girl, and Ranga was not in favor of arranged marriages. I was distressed that the boy, who I thought would make a good husband, had decided to remain a bachelor. After chatting for a little longer, Ranga left. I made up my mind right then that I would get him married. Now, obviously, the meeting was not so much successful from the point of the narrator, because Ranga told his perspective that he wanted to marry a mature girl and he is not in favor of arranged marriages. Now, after Ranga left the place of the narrators, then the narrator decided then and there that he would get him married. Now, dear students, I am moving on to the next paragraph, and for the very first time, we'll get to know about another important character, and that character is Rama Rao's niece by the name of Ratna. See, so let us move on to the next paragraph. See, it is written, Rama Rao's niece, a pretty girl of 11, had come to stay with him. With him means with Rama Rao. She was from a big town, so she knew how to play the veena and the harmonium. So we get to know many information about Ratna. She came from a big town and she knew how to play the veena and the harmonium. She also had a very sweet voice. Both her parents had died, and her uncle had brought her home. Ranga was just the boy for her, and she the most suitable bride for him. Now, this is very important. Now, the matchmaker narrator by the name of Shama, you will get to know his name later in the course of the story. Now, the important thing is that he thought that Ratna was the perfect choice for Ranga. And this line is very important, dear students. Ranga was just the boy for her, and she the most suitable bride for him. Since I was a frequent visitor to Ramarao's place, the girl was quite free with me. And now the narrator is saying that since he used to go every time, more or less, so Ramarao's niece Ratna was very frank, or rather to say, quite free with him. I completely forgot to mention her name. Ratna it was. The very next morning, I went to their house and told Ramarao's wife, I will send some buttermilk for you. Ask Ratna to fetch it. Okay, now he is devising many plans so that the meeting between Ranga and Ratna be successful. So what he told Ramarao's wife, that I will send some buttermilk for you, and you ask Ratna to come to my home and fetch it. Now we are coming to that portion of the story where for the very first time Ranga and Ratna will meet with one another. Ratna came. It was a Friday, so she was wearing a grand sari. I told her to sit in my room and requested her to sing a song. I sent for Ranga. Now, obviously, he's arranging the meeting between Ranga and Ratna. So, since Ratna was very frank with the narrator, so Ratna went on singing. And Ratna can play the veena and the harmonium as we all know it earlier, and she can sing properly also. So, Ratna went on singing a very religious song, and it is like this. And here I quote, Krishnamurti in front of my eyes. And what an irony, when she was singing Lord Sri Krishna in front of her eyes, or Krishnamurti in front of her eyes, Ranga exactly came at that moment. Ranga reached the door. He stopped at the threshold. He did not want the singing to stop, but was very eager, very inquisitive, very curious to see the singer. Now he was trying desperately. He means Ranga was trying desperately. That was the reason he haven't crossed the threshold, because he doesn't want this beautiful song to end and doesn't want the singer to stop the song, because it seems that Ranga was very much impressed with the voice of Ratna. He did not want the singing to stop, but was very inquisitive, but was very, very curious to see the singer. Carefully he peeped in. The light coming into the room was blocked. Ratna looked up and seeing a stranger there, abruptly stopped. Abruptly is an adverb, dear students. As you know by this time, abruptly means all of a sudden. So when Ratna saw Ranga, an unknown person, a stranger, she stopped. But Ranga was trying desperately, not trying desperately so hard, because Ranga was very much impressed with her song. So that was the reason Ranga was trying desperately to see that she goes on singing. But all of a sudden, it was stopped. Suppose you buy the best quality mango, you eat it slowly, savoring its peel before biting into the juicy flesh. You do not want to waste any part of it. Before you take another bite, the fruit slips out of your hand and falls to the ground. How will you feel when you are savoring a delicious mango, and when you are about to take the bite of that juicy flesh, all of a sudden you have taken one bite, you are very much eager to take another bite. Now at this moment, suppose the mango slips out of your hand and falls to the ground, then what you will do? How do you feel? Ranga's face showed the same disappointment when the singing stopped. Exactly the same disappointment can be seen in case of Ranga, because he tried desperately to make Ratna sing so that Ratna continues singing. But when Ratna stopped singing, there was a look of disappointment on the face of Ranga. You sent for me, he asked as he came in and sat on a chair. Ratna stood at a distance, her head lowered, because Ratna was very shy. Ranga repeatedly glanced at her. once our eyes met. Our means it is the narrator and Ranga. So obviously the narrator could very well or presumably uh, uh, feel like that Ranga already decided liking Ratna. So it was love at first sight, we can say. So let me move on. Ratna stood at a distance, her head lowered. Ranga repeatedly glanced at her. Once our eyes met, and he looked very uncomfortable, or rather to say, he looked very embarrassed. No one spoke for a long while. They both were very, very quiet. They never ever had spoken. They all kept very quiet. It was my coming in that stopped the singing. Let me leave. So, in a very humble manner, Ranga told the narrator that I came, so she stopped her singing. It is better for me to leave right now. But Ranga told the narrator that he would leave that place, but surprisingly decided to stay on. It was my coming in that stopped the singing, let me leave. Words, mere words. The fellow said he would leave but did not make a move, stood fixed at the place. How can you expect words to match actions in these days of Kali Yuga? Words and actions never ever mixes, or rather to say, words and actions are not the same in the age of Kali Yuga. Ratna ran inside, overcome by shyness. Obviously, because Ratna was a very young girl and obviously saw a stranger, so Ratna was very, very shy. And so, what Ratna did? Ratna went inside. After a while, Ranga asked, who is that girl Swami? Swami here been referred to the narrator. Who's that inside? The lion wanted to know. Here, the lion refers to Ranga. The he goat who has taken shelter in the temple replied, does it matter who I am? I am a poor animal who has already eaten 9 lions. That means he already had solemnized or conducted successfully the marriage of 9 grooms. So Ranga would be the 10th one. Who am I? I am a poor animal who had already eaten 9 lions. That means the narrator or the author had already solemnized the marriage of nine uh, 9 grooms. Now that's something very impressive. I have vowed to eat one more. Now, that particular one more is here referred to Ranga. Tell me, are you male or female? The lion fled the place in fear, it seems. Now, obviously, it's a plan. A plan came in the mind of the narrator that who already has solemnized the marriage of 9 young men like Ranga. So obviously he had taken the target to marry Ranga. Like the he goat, I said, what does it matter to either of us who she is? I am already married and you aren't the marrying kind. Now, this is very, very important. Now, the narrator told that I am already married. It doesn't matter to either of us who she is because I am already married and you only told me that you won't be marrying anyone except if you get someone to be mature. So the last line is also very important of this particular page. Like the he goat, I said, what does it matter to either of us who she is? I am already married and you aren't the marrying kind. And not only that, the narrator even told that I am already married and you aren't the marrying kind. And remember, dear students, the previous paragraph, I have already eaten 9 lions means he has already conducted the marriage of 9 grooms, we can say, and he promised to marry. He promised to actually arrange the marriage of Ranga and Ratna. He was very much eager to kill the 10th lion. I have vowed to eat one more. That means one more lion. Tell me, are you male or female? The lion fled the place in fear. Now, when this idiotic question was being asked, when this funny question was being asked by the narrator, that tell me, are you a male or female? Now, after hearing this question, the narrator was totally shocked and surprised and decided to leave that place in fear. Like the he goat, I said, what does it matter to either of us who she is? I am already married and you aren't the marrying kind. Now, this is very important, very, very important. Now, here the he goat refers to the narrator. Now, he told Ranga that what does it matter? Because who she is, why you are so curious to know about her. I am already married, and as far as you are concerned, as I told to all of you, dear students, I mean, as Ranga was concerned, he who aren't the marrying kind means he is not at all ready to marry. He aren't the marrying kind means he is not the one who can be said to be, yes, he is of the marrying kind, but he is not of the marrying kind, because Ranga already told that unless and until he finds a right girl, a mature girl, he won't marry anyone. So, dear students, I stop here in this audio presentation. If there is any doubt anywhere, let me know about it. Thank you, students. Thank you all.